I got one here, and I hadn't heard this before, so you guys let me know if this is something that is in your wheelhouse. But I haven't heard this before, but this headline says, Albert Einstein was flown to U.S. to look at aliens in UFOs, assistant claims. Albert Einstein was flown to America to observe the bodies of dead aliens, it has been claimed. Recently emerged taped conversations say the UK-based genius was flown by top-secret agents to Roswell in New Mexico back in 1947 to examine the debris of a crashed UFO, complete with the aliens inside. The out of this world claim states that Einstein and his assistant, Dr. Shirley Wright, were flown to the site under government direction to examine the bodies of the crash site and the extraterrestrial vehicle. Audio files have since surfaced featuring an interview with Shirley, who said in the tapes that she felt an obligation to history to reveal the truth. Let's see here. She said that Einstein, the most renowned theoretical physicist of the 20th century, who proved the existence of atoms and molecules, was asked to attend the site in July of 1947 to give his expert take on the matter. It's like the military found aliens, and they're going to fly in Einstein just to confirm that they're aliens. I would really like to know his insight on this. Is there any greater insight here? I want to see this. Okay. Dr. Wright recorded the account in 1993, but only now has been made public. With the tape, she says herself and Einstein were asked to attend the crisis conference, which took place at an airbase with other military and scientists in attendance. She said they were shown an alien aircraft. It was disc-shaped, sort of concave. Its size stood up to one of one-fourth of the hangar floor. The craft appeared damaged on one side. The body of the ship was what I could call a rather reflective material, but when you got up close to it, it was rather dull. Einstein was not disturbed at all by seeing the actual evidence. I didn't record in my notes his initial comments, but he said something to the effect that he was not surprised that they came to Earth, and it gave him hope that we could learn more about the universe. Contact, he said, should be a benefit for both our worlds. She went on to explain how they had seen the aliens themselves. She said, some of the specialists were allowed closer looks, including my boss. To me, they all looked alike, all 5 of them. They were about 5 feet tall, without hair, with big heads and enormous dark eyes. With their skin was gray with a slight greenish tint, greenish tinge. What's that? Green skin. You're right, green skin.
And it was gray too.
It's green, gray skin, all the skin colors that we love.
They had all the
green
skin.
balls. You're looking at a freaking little green man, folks.
Yeah.
He had green skin.
So
green balls.
Yeah, well, they got a close look.
Einstein returns to New Jersey, and that's the first thing that he says when they're like, "What'd you see?" He's like,
green balls.
Green ball. It was nuts.
They had their skin was green with gray with a slight greenish tinge, but for the most part, their bodies were not exposed, being dressed in tight-fitting suits. But I heard they had no navels or genitalia, so they didn't have any green balls.
He had green balls.
Wait, you just said they were dressed in tight-fitting suits. I assume the bright silver ones we always see.
Yeah.
Then immediately they don't have any navels or genitalia, which means did you unzip? Because
boner.
That's the first thing I do.
Hey, check out that thing's package.
Yeah. That's the first thing I do.
What are we working with here?
Balls.
She then said there was another trip where an alien was still alive and seen writhing around in pain. But she was escorted from the building while Einstein, who had the correct clearance, was allowed to stay. Dr. Wright said she was sworn to secrecy and was told the visit would be denied by all official channels if she did speak out. The Albert Einstein Foundation said they have no records of Einstein's whereabouts on this date. Okay.
That's right.
Sounds like he was interrogating
An alien.
alien that was writhing around in pain, asking where his balls went.
So was Einstein in the room asking questions, or was he there like stripped down to his undershirt? His hands are all bloody, and his knuckles are all raw, and he's sweaty and everything as he's been working this alien over. I mean,
Working like, oh my god, I can't vet his balls. I've looked all over his body.
Einstein, go in there and punch that guy a few times. See if you can get anything out of him. Slam his balls in a door if you can, please. That's how we torture it.
That's why it's in pain.
All the way through the story, it's implicit they brought Einstein in for his intellect to be like, hey, let's see what the smartest guy in the world thinks of this. Maybe he's just really good at like interrogations. And he's
good cop, bad cop. He's the bad cop.
He's bad cop. He shows up and like takes off his coat, hangs it on the door, and just starts, cracking his knuckles and rolling up his sleeves. And then they shut the door, and there's just a bunch of screams.
Fucking piece of shit.
He goes in there and just starts blasting the aliens across the face.
How do you make an atomic bomb?
You fucking goddamn fucker.
Tell me about time travel.
I killed number 4, bringing number 5.
Yeah. Careful with this one. It's our last one.
Yeah.
What the fuck's your problem?
Now you're gonna cut his balls off. Damn it.
I mean, maybe Einstein's just a tough ass guy, and they brought him in addition to his astounding intellect. He's great. So, well, I mean, this is interesting. I wish she would have taken notes as soon as this was done, but she said she didn't take any notes about this. So, but at least it was recorded in 1993. It would make sense they would want to assemble the top minds of the time to come in and give their take about what's going on. But at the same time, the military, if this was a crashed alien kind of thing, they knew they had something extraterrestrial or interdimensional. And so why bring in Einstein on this? They probably would want to keep it hush-hush. Or maybe it was just a big psyop. You can take that angle, too. This was all a big psyop, and they just wanted to see if they could fool the best and brightest of the time.
Well, on the other hand, to just throw out this one for Occam's razor, Einstein studied in Germany before he came to the U.S., and for a while there was talk about what's the Bell UFO?
The Nazi Bell.
Nazi Bell. So maybe
Declocker.
they thought this was that same sort of thing, and this would be like, hey, could this have been some sort of German technology? Because if you recall, there was that one story of these weren't aliens that crashed; they were like horribly disfigured and shriveled little German people that crashed in like a Nazi Bell. So maybe.
No, I think they just brought in Einstein to interrogate the alien.
I like the
Hey, I'm
interrogation.
here to chop your balls off.
He comes in with like just a tool roll and start like a wrench roll, starts undoing it. It's just a bunch of knives and things.
Yeah, that little thing that you put on the testicles of like goats when they castrate them. This little rubber band.
Rubber band.
Balls. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there's Einstein. Oh,
shows up with a
Hey, I'm
car
here to
battery.
chop your balls off.
Comes in with a set of tools, a car battery, starts taking his jacket off, rolling up his sleeves. It's like, This isn't going to go well, so you're going to want to.
You want a high-powered uppercut right upside your head? You're about to get it.
Oh boy. Well, there's Einstein and ETs. I had not heard of this one, but fascinating nonetheless.
It would make for an interesting little vignette or something in a longer story, because they'd have to have done this, right? I mean, if there was a crash at Roswell and they were investigating, we have photos of the guys from the Army Air Corps holding up all this stuff. You would think they would reach out to every scientific expert they had, available, one of whom would be Einstein. So why not?
Was Tesla still alive at this time?
What was the year again?
1947.
I don't think so.
Tesla, I thought he died in the early 40s and like penniless in New York somewhere.
Oh yeah, they took all of his stuff and then they said
gave
the hell
it to
with
Trump's uncle. Remember that?
Right, and they got a time machine, and
Fuck 'em.
I can't remember. I think they went back into
January
1800s?
43. He died.
Oh, okay. That's too bad. He didn't get a chance to stick around to see this. Oh boy. Well, we'll move on. That was a fun little story there. You got UFO stories over there, Gretchen?
I have one UFO story.
Okay.
Let me find that UFO story.
We'll do this next one. Then we'll open the phone lines, and then I want to talk about asteroids a little bit.
Asteroid.
So this one comes. Comes from credit from Herman from Holland, who found it.
Double H.
Our boy Double H. There you go, into the carrot shop.
Oops.
And this there's video with this, in fact.
Okay.
And that's from 3 days ago.
Okay. This New Jersey. I think this is what we're looking at here, right? I think so. Oh yeah, this is pretty new stuff. So let's see here. Let's go over here. I'll bring it up on screen. I'm sure there's some sort of audio here that we can play, and I'll enjoy.
What's that?
A pattern of lights over Paterson, New Jersey on Monday night caused a bit of a stir with residents on the ground, all trying to make sense of the unidentified flying objects. Louis Stevens, who was on the ground,
I got to get the raw audio.
Spectacle, says he lost count of what he called flying white circles that he says morphed into different shapes.
You see it on YouTube.
Aliens!
Like, it's always somewhere out in Nevada desert somewhere. The shock was more like, is this really real? Like, are we really looking at what we think we're looking at? Headed toward those.
The mysterious lights dazzled the skies over downtown Paterson for more than 5 minutes, Stevens said, ending their run over nearby Garrett Mountain. Pix 11 News sent the video to the Federal Aviation Administration, where an official reviewed it, checking in with local air traffic. We were told nothing unusual was reported, while theories on the ground are now running rampant, especially after a government report released over the summer acknowledged that intelligence officials cannot explain such sophisticated movements in the skies. One likely premise leans more toward drones.
Oh, they come to Earth!
Kind of puzzled.
Victor Chu, the founder, director, and executive producer of SkyTech One, a drone-based photography company behind numerous award-winning productions, says based on his knowledge, it appears the flying objects were part of a drone lighting show practice session that went wrong.
If you look at a light show, they're all synced together and they're controlled by a computer. And if you looked at the video, you'll see that they're maintaining a formation for the most part, even though it was kind of scrambled a little bit.
There's a lot of them, look.
Now, whether they were drones or some supernatural phenomenon remains unclear. Officials are urging members of the public who do see this type of activity to report it to the National UFO Reporting Center, or if they feel their life or property are in danger, to call police. In Paterson, I'm Andrew Ramos, Pix 11 News.
We're gonna call the aquarium or something, dude.
Wait. So he said call the National UFO whatever. Who the hell is this now?
Is that what was that? That's a good question. What was the National UFO database? Is that what he said?
No, you don't call it database.
I call it database.
Matrix.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me rewind here.
Mayor, can you get the last
activity to report it to the National UFO Reporting Center, or if they feel their life or property.
The National UFO Reporting Center.
Does that just ring like on your desk?
What do you mean?
I mean, you just pick it up and you're just like hey,
I'm the person?
Yeah. Midnight Mike, also National UFO Reporting Center.
Yeah. No, I don't get those calls.
NUFORC.org, apparently.
National UFO
Why have we never
Center.
heard of this group?
If I have, I blocked it out of my memory.
Yeah,
didn't really ring. I don't know.
Oh, they come to Earth!
They have a hotline.
Do they really?
Oh yeah, you got to call that hotline. Use only if the sighting has occurred within the last week. Do not clog up the hotline.
But they have one line.
I'm on the phone right now. Don't call.
It's a track phone. Look, we only have like 14 minutes left, so unless it's happened in the last week, don't call the goddamn hotline.
Only call between 6 and 10. Nothing before or after.
On Tuesdays only.
Yeah.
You see, remember what I said? If you see a UFO, don't call
me. Give us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Check out obdmpod.com for all the social media and donation links. Be a part of the magic.